Hello, I'm Kenny Smith, the Student Media Advisor in the Journalism and Mass Communication Department at Samford University, where every day I get to work with student journalists on award-winning projects like the Samford Crimson, our weekly campus newspaper, The Local, a twice-a-year general interest news magazine, and the Samford News Network, our cable news program. Today's video is part of our series where we try to answer questions we often receive from high school student journalists and their journalism teachers. And today's topic deals with a tricky little part of iMovie. Before we talk about that, I want to tell you that in the Journalism and Mass Communication Department at Samford University, our students focus on print and online journalism, broadcast media, public relations, and advertising. We offer minors in sports media and in film production. Oh, and we have some cool scholarship opportunities available too for incoming freshmen. I'll tell you a little bit more about how to find out that information in just a few moments. But first, back to our tutorial. Now, our film and broadcast students use more involved editing software, but iMovie is pretty impressive non-linear editing itself. If you're using Macs in your newsroom, you're probably going to get to know iMovie because the software is already installed, it works, and it can help you create some quality video packages. Now, you wouldn't use iMovie to create a professional television package or a blockbuster movie. Sorry, Josh Whedon, but you've got other equipment for that. But for quick hits, for web video, and for some straightforward interviews, it's plenty effective. Also, iMovie has several great transitions, great themes, and some quality text treatments that let you do some pretty interesting work. Our student journalists at the Crimson, the newspaper here last night, produced a man-on-the-street package with iMovie. It's become a regular part of the equipment that they use. Now, we'll assume that you've already got your video on your computer, having transferred the work from your phone, from your cameras, using photos or image capture or a third-party application. After that, you have to figure out events and projects, which is our subject today. Now, events are just collections of clips and pictures. Pretty simple, really. The event is where you store all of the video clips related to a video that you're editing. When you start a project, you may start out with a new event and then import all of the clips and pictures that you want to use. So you see here, I have 4 events lined up in this version of iMovie. This is my screen capture here. There's 4 events over there, and they arrange by date. So I've had one from 2014 and 3 that I've put together in this particular version in 2015. So when you start a project, you may start out with a new event and then import all of the clips and pictures that you want to use, because events are simply just a collection of clips and pictures that you've shot, that you've produced, and that you've now uploaded to your machine and imported into the software. A project is the file that contains the edited video, viewable in the project library or in the timeline. Okay? So you've seen now 2 examples that I've got running, and they're showing you work that's not finished yet. The projects are actually the movies that you're making. iMovie calls them both projects and movies, and that can be a little bit confusing. So here's one with some Star Wars movie commercial scenes, right? And here's one of nice shots of horses running around. So these are different events, and I've got different projects going on here. When you start new work in iMovie, most versions want to name it after today's date as a default, and I've sort of left some of that up there. You can replace the dates that name each of your events with words. The more videos you create, the more you'll want to do that. Otherwise, you'll be asking yourself, did we shoot that video of students in the parking lot on March 3rd, or was that March 7th, or March 15th? My suggestion would be to choose a news slug that perhaps includes the creator's initials, the date, and a little bit about the story, so people can figure it out at a glance. So here's the 3rd video I'm producing. This one's got cute dog pictures. It's actually another commercial. Let's check out the working panel. It opens up with the name of your movie on it. This is where you can drag your clips and transitions and sounds and so on to create your movie. When you've got all this mastered, experiment a little as a newsroom. Drag and drop your projects and clips into folders and do it in such a way that allows for it to make the most sense for your newsroom, for your operation. Try to think up a way, either by section or by date or author or subject matter, that's going to be easy for you and easy for everyone in your newsroom to quickly figure out. If you're doing a lot of volume, You won't want to spend a great deal of time, which time is precious. You won't want to spend a great deal of time trying to find that clip that you shot 3 months ago. After that, experiment. Have your files and saved and back everything up before you make huge changes. But don't be afraid to try something new here. That's how you'll learn more about the program and more about visual storytelling in general. So remember, movies or projects, same thing, and events are separate things, okay? If you click on a different event, the project window will not change. The project does not need to match the events. The project window does not need to match the events window. An event can be associated with more than one project, and a project can take clips or photos from any event. So you see here that I've got a shot from Star Wars in my timeline, right there. It's the Darth Vader mask right in this area here. Then there's a clip from an insurance commercial I pulled just as an example, and then that nice shot of horses, and then a nice shot of the puppy dog, and those are all from different events. They actually belong to all different events up here in this area, but I've pulled them into this one timeline to create a rather chaotic looking project, but it demonstrates that you can have events crossing over in terms of the clips to make a finished project that doesn't have to necessarily belong strictly to one another. It's a great way to use B-roll from that parking lot shot you had a couple of weeks ago, and that was on a story about, let's say, restriping the parking lot or not enough spaces or whatever, and then use that as a general piece of footage for people leaving campus because it's time to go home for the day, and now it's the holidays. Everybody's departing. Campus will be a ghost town. Whatever the case may be, that clip can be reusable from one event over here and dropped into another story down in this area. Now, here's something that gets people thrown off a little bit. If you look at these two areas here, you've got our general placeholding area here, this big square there, and obviously this square over here is going to be where the preview is seen, so we know exactly what the viewer's seeing. So our event coverage goes in this area, in this square, and down here is our actual timeline of work we're doing. So we've got every clip and every transition, everything goes down there. These two sections, this one and this one, can be interchanged. And it all comes down to what you're accustomed to. It all comes down to what makes the most sense for you, or what you like, or what you're just simply used to. But they can be swapped. I prefer it to be opposite of this. So I would simply go up to Window in the top there you see, and then scroll down to where you see the swap the panes, swap project and event is the actual command. And after you click that, simply moves those two projects around, moves those two items around, and to know exactly where everything is. It feels a lot more comfortable for me, and at some point this needs to be about what makes you work faster and what makes the most sense for you. And that's an easy command for people to overlook. And if it's not exactly the way that you wanted it previously and somebody else had come in and changed it, that can sometimes be unsettling for people. So I wanted to make sure that you saw that tidbit as well. So we hope that explains a little bit about this tricky part of the iMovie software. When you have a chance, when you're on a computer, come over and surf on in and visit us online. Samford.edu. It's a great site. The web folks work very hard on it. It's got a lot of great information for you and for your parents about this great university and the great location that we're at. If you have questions that we can help you with in the series, please do let us know. Find us on Twitter or Instagram, and before you go, scroll down a bit below the video in the description area here on YouTube and check out our JMC scholarship information available for incoming freshmen. Until next time, great writing, great shooting, go tell some great stories. I'm Kenny Smith.